lavender. If it doesn't smell like lavender, I would just leave everything alone in that entire store, because they're not keeping up with their herbs and keeping them fresh, because lavender has a very distinct smell, very distinct purple color. And if it doesn't look like lavender, leave it alone, so you can tell the quality of the herb or the plant as well. And that's organoleptics, and we have to practice this. You know, it's not something that, because we live in this concrete society where everything is just bulldozed over and, you know, made into a highway or a new complex or whatever, we lose a lot of the connection that we need to have with the nature, Mother Earth. And so we lose a lot of this, and we need to practice it on a daily basis. Go out into the wild. Let's see if anybody's in the chat room real quick. We're going to talk about the chat room next week. Next week. At the end of the show. Sorry, I'm already on this week. At the end of the show, so yeah. Okay, yeah, so we got some, oh good, we got some answers to the question too in the chat room, so we'll talk about those at the end of the show. But let me continue here. Yeah, so basically, they want you, they, meaning the man, you know, white people, they want you to forget how to smell. And that's, I'm just using that as an example. They want you to forget how to smell, how to use your own senses to be able to tell if something is real or not. You go to the grocery store, I don't smell anything. Why is that? There's food in there. Seriously, why do you go to the grocery store and I can't smell no food? It's full with food. Obviously, everything is artificial. So, except for, you know, even when you go to the produce aisle, you don't smell anything. You have to put your nose in the box of strawberries to smell it. That is not right. And that's part of our problem too, the fact that we are not, our nose senses are just, you know, gone because we've been smelling so much artificial crap. And we need to practice and get better at this, being out in nature more, so we can smell things and see things better. And as black people, we have this higher sense, and we need to, you know, really work with it. And, you know, it can be so powerful, really. But one thing that you can do is to basically get rid of all the artificial fragrances, all the artificial, you know, like, you know, cleaning supplies that have lemon scent, not real lemon scent, okay? Get rid of all the cleaning supplies, get rid of all the fake candles and the plug-in air fresheners and stuff like that, because that stuff is deadening your senses of smell, especially. So we need to get rid of all that and be able to, you know, put some fresh flowers in your house, put a fresh plant in your house, dig some dirt out of the ground and put it in the pot that you keep in your house, because, you know, even just using potting soil, it might, you know, it's gone through so much processing to kill all the bacteria, kill all the whatever, and then they put stuff that they want in it. You know, try to just get some regular dirt from the ground and use that for your house. You know, smell different things, even though they might not smell great to you. Okay, that's my rant. Okay, so, all right, and also we need to have smell so we can detect things for survival, and we'll kind of talk about this on the survival show. But just think of how, if we were able to smell much, even maybe one time better than what we do now. Think about dogs and other animals that can smell out of control. Think about pheromones. Like, I think a dog can smell another dog in heat, like what, 100 miles away or something like that. I mean, that's crazy. So we have the same senses, we have the same nose structure and everything. But as it's an ancient skill. That's what I'm trying to say. And so we can work on that. Okay, so let's see what else she talks about. She talks about antioxidants, especially. And basically, antioxidants are compounds in the plant that make it a certain color. So there's compounds in plants that make it an antioxidant, and those same compounds in the plant give it its color, usually. Okay, let's see, I'm going to try to cut out some of this since we're running low on time. Yes, one important point that she made was that we need to have multiple types of antioxidants from foods. So there's different strengths of antioxidants, and there's different solubilities of antioxidants. So some antioxidants are going to be water soluble, some are going to be fat soluble. And so, If you're getting only water-soluble antioxidants, which is probably coming from a supplement that you buy at the store, then you're only going to be tackling that part of your system. A lot of reactive oxygen species and cancer cells, they feed off of, or they, work and feed into the fat cells in your body. That's why it's so harmful to have a lot of fat around in the tummy area. But that's a different topic. But anyway, so there's some antioxidants that you can use that will be fat soluble, so they're going to be readily available and helpful in the fat tissue, which is very important for puberty, is very important for a lot of different aspects of our growth and everything. But too much of it, of course, is bad. But let's talk about the first color here. Green. Green, 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 my favorite color. It's basically the color of life. If you think about chlorophyll, it is basically the melanin of plants. Okay, it's the melanin of plants. It's a blood builder. It's a detoxifier. It builds chi. This is from her lecture. It also is a deodorizer. I think people use like capsules of chlorophyll in their bath water and for cleansing and things like that. So it's a deodorizer as well. But it's interesting that the compound of chlorophyll, and we'll post a picture on the YouTube stream hopefully. The compound of chlorophyll is a porphyrin ring. Okay, this is one of those words I was telling you about, but it's a porphyrin ring, and the structure of it is a porphyrin ring, and in the middle of that porphyrin ring is a magnesium ion. And so the magnesium is in the middle, and it's flanked by 4 different nitrogen ions. And when light hits that compound structure, it fluoresces, or it shows up as green. And think about all the things in nature that are green. Gosh, there's millions. If you replace that magnesium with another type of metal, such as iron, then you'll get a red color, which is what happens in the formation of hemoglobin and heme in your body to carry oxygen. That's why when you cut your skin, the red color that you're seeing there is the oxygen that's present. And then there's also, if you replace the magnesium with cobalt, this is interesting. Cobalt, it becomes blue. And so that is vitamin B12 now. Okay? So it's very interesting how these compounds that are found in nature, found in plants, will show up as a different color to our eyes. That's how we're connected. We can see these things. We can see actual compounds in a plant. It's a beautiful thing to me. I don't know. I hope I'm putting that across to you as much as I can. But one other thing about chlorophyll is it's beautiful. It is it's very protective it protects you from cancer. It protects you from especially a cancer that you can get if you eat a lot of grilled meat or basically grilled meat, because the grilling of the meat, that blackened part that you ingest in the meat, it can be carcinogen. Can be a carcinogen. And what is produced are these heterocyclic amine mutagens that are produced in that black part of the meat, and that's burning of fat, burning of protein. And so chlorophyll really helps to prevent you from a lot of toxins that are in meat and in that process as well. But one important thing that she talked about in her lecture was that every single phytochemical found in plants always has a companion or a few companion phytochemicals. Nothing ever exists by itself. Chlorophyll is not going to exist by itself and not going to do its job, by itself. It has to have flavonoids. It has to have carbohydrates. It has to have bioflavonoids, carotenoids, keratin. It has to have all these things to work well. And those are all different colors as well. That's why it's so important to have a variety in color of diet. And everything works together. You cannot buy vitamin C. Vitamin C is another thing she talks about. You can't just buy vitamin C at the store and expect it to just cure your entire cold and everything. You have to have these other companion molecules that will work all together to help you. It's not just one thing. So anyway, let's talk about yellow real quick. Okay, so yellow, let's skip around here. You probably heard of quercetin, I think, is quercetin. It's a flavonoid. It's yellow. You can buy it, you know, in the over the counter, of course. But it's found very high, and there's also another flavonoid, a yellow flavonoid called violxanthin. And violxanthin is really high also in dandelion flowers. Now this is the psychology that I get from this. Okay, so the dandelion flowers are very high in yellow. Of course, you see the yellow when you look at the flower. Basically, they are very antioxidant. They are going to destroy the reactive oxygen species that are involved in almost every single disease, especially in cancer. Now, I've studied this at school. Okay, reactive oxygen species are one of the worst parts of cancer, that for any cancer, doesn't matter. But what the interesting thing about dandelion is that almost every lawn in the United States, if you drive, you know, down Main Street in any city and they have a manicured lawn, you will not see one dandelion. If you go to, like, in the country in South Carolina, you will see, you know, people just leave their lawn. They might cut it every month or something, but they'll have a bunch of dandelions and they don't care, you know. But in these suburbs that you know come across, they're not going to have any dandelions. And you know why? I feel like it is a conspiracy, basically, because we've talked about dandelions so much, even just on this show. This is our 17th show, and I've probably talked about it 15 times because it's so I'm sorry, 50 times. The plant itself is just so amazing. You know, you can eat them. They're just that important, and I feel like it's basically the same thing that's happening with marijuana. If you listen to Newbie Hood Radio, you'll listen to one of the lectures that he's posted up about marijuana, one of the documentaries about marijuana, and how basically they have just destroyed cannabis in this country because it was so wonderful and great for everything. You know, the hemp could be used for clothes. It can be used for renewable energy. It could be, you know, obviously the medicinal properties of the plant itself. They changed the name to marijuana. You know, it was first considered cannabis or hemp, you know, in the 60s or 50s or whatever, and then around the 70s and 80s when they started attacking it because they realized that it was, you know, great for everything, cure-all for everything, they changed the name to marijuana because anything Mexican or anything, you know, with a kind of a ethnic type name to it is dangerous and deadly and scary and bad. So they changed the name of it so it can have this negative connotation to it. I think the same thing is happening with dandelion. They're cutting it, you're taking it out of your yard. Everybody thinks it's terrible to have this weed in your yard. People are really talking in the chat room. But this is serious, okay? You know, I think the same thing is happening with the dandelion because it's so important for medicinal properties. You know, you can eat it. It's nutritious, very nutritious. It probably can supplement many different vitamins and minerals. And they're just, you know, spraying it half to death. It's very, very sad. And it's free. You know, it's a free thing that grows like a weed because it is a weed. Anyway, that's my rant again. Okay. All right, so let's talk about a little bit more about yellow here. This is very interesting. She talks